Hey everybody, it's Angela and I am back with the design team project for SaCrafters. And as you can see, I'm going to use this cute little Mitten album that she has. It's made out of chipboard, and I'm going to use some kind of unconventional papers for it. I'm going to use this line by Hot Off the Press, and the reason is I didn't want to do a Christmas album with it because I have other Christmassy stuff I'm doing. And so I wanted to do something that was more winter themed, since a mitten could be for any kind of snow, winter, or Christmas type of theme. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go with just a winter theme and go with a little bit more unconventional colors. And this line from Hot Off the Press that I'm using here has a little bit more unconventional colors. And so as you can see, it's a single-sided paper. And I've just traced the mitten onto the back of the paper, and then I'm trimming on the inside of my line. And you don't have to be perfect on this because I actually just kind of file the edges down after I get it glued on, and I'm also going to ink the edges. So it's going to make it look perfect anyhow, so you don't have to be super perfect cutting this out. But it's a very simple shape, so it's not too bad. And what I mean by unconventional colors is this has a white and a black, very traditional, and then it has a beige, a red, and kind of a plum purple to it. So I thought that was really fun, just something different besides just Christmas colors. So since this paper kind of has all of those colors in it, I decided to use it for the front and back cover. So I just kind of cut it so that beautiful design would be on the bottom, more towards the cuff. And you can see I just used a glue stick to glue it on, and I put the glue onto the chipboard so that way I can go all the way to the edge of the chipboard with my glue stick and not get it onto my work surface, instead of just putting the glue onto the paper where it would kind of get all over my mat and everything. So I try to always remember to put my glue on the chipboard instead. And like I said, I'm just using an emery board to sand the edges, so anywhere I didn't get it perfectly aligned, it's not gonna be a big deal. And you can sand it even more if you're going for a shabby chic kind of look and you want those scratchy edges and stuff. On this, I'm going for a little bit cleaner look, so I just took off the extra paper and didn't scratch the front of the paper quite so much. And then I'm gonna take an ink applicator, and I was just looking for my black ink pad there. Put it on the applicator, and then I'm just using some black archival ink, and that is going to color the edge of my chipboard and go over into the paper a little bit, just to kind of give that a nice edge. And you can see I took the pad off my ink applicator to get it into that little crevice where the thumb is. And so now I'm going to do that same process for all the different pages, and I'm just laying them out, figuring out what I want the pattern to be on the other side, and then tracing around and cutting them out. So I'm going to skip ahead, and I didn't have any embellishments for this line, just the paper. So I got a bunch of different die cuts. I got these cute little frisky squirrels, and what is that from? That is from Puppy Stamps. And they're really tiny, but they're so super cute. And then I've got a bunch of these hot off the press die cuts. This one has a wreath and a bow in it that I'm going to use. On every page I'm going to put a scalloped mat. And then I also used, there's a star and label shapes on that. These 3 snowflakes. I think I just used the snowflakes from this flying reindeer. I have a diamond dies with these 3 deer on it that's really pretty, so I wanted to get some of those in there since that's kind of snowy themed, to me at least. Some more label shapes. I don't think I wound up using, I was going to use the star off of this, but I don't think I did. There's a snowflake in here and a little tree that I wind up using, all of those. And I also cut out the stuff to do this wreath, and I was thinking of putting it on the front cover. But I don't wind up actually doing that. I do cut it all out, and then I change my mind later. So now I have the pieces to make a wreath for another project. So here's all my cuts that I've done, and I picked out the white, black, red, plum, and beige colors from that paper. And you can see I cut out a couple wreaths. So yeah, I can make several, do a card or something like that. And I also had these in my stash. They're just some acetate snowflakes in black, so that brought in a little bit more punches of black in here that I thought I would use just to get some more stuff used up out of my stash. Because like I said, I didn't have any embellishments to go with this paper line, and I don't have any of SaCrafters' more Christmassy type. I love to put her little small chipboard or wood elements on my mini albums, but I didn't have any. So I pulled these dazzles. I only wind up using the dazzles on that big pack in the back. But I have all these different silver dazzles because silver is going to be the metallic accent that I use throughout this album. So when I link Sa's Mitten album, I'll link some of her other Christmas pieces as well, so you can take a look because she's got some super cute stuff in her shop. So there's all my pages covered and the holes cut. And I'm going to do this as a side to side flip, just because I think that's a little easier sometimes than flipping it from the top to bottom as far as orientation. And here's that wreath, and so what it does is it has a bunch of little slits in there, and it die cuts out a bunch of extra branches, and you can like stick them in anywhere to give as much fullness as you want. So it's really cool die cut, and you can see I went ahead and just kind of left it in because I do think it's a really cool accent. And I die cut it in 3 different colors: the purple, the red, and this sparkly white. But in the end, I decide not to use the wreath on the front. And instead I go with this large purple snowflake, just kind of pulling that color out. And I think that what I'm going to do is, because I use the scalloped circles for my mats, I'm going to make circle photos, of course, for all of the pages, and I'm going to print the photos in black and white because I think that would look really cool with just these pops of color and keeping it all in this more unusual color theme. So there are the 3 sheets that come in that bigger hot off the press dazzle pack. And I'm just kind of cutting out a few things here that I think I might use. I've got a swoosh, that Let It Snow that I've just cut out, and then a bunch of snowflakes off of that sheet. So I decided to use the Let It Snow on the front cover because, like I said, it's going to be more of a winter album than an actual Christmas album, and I'm really optimistic that it's going to snow this year. Actually, it's snowing right now down at the farm. My hubby's there without any power, so that kind of sucks for him. But I'm up here in the city with the heat on, so that's pretty awesome. Although it is flooding here, so that's not so awesome. I may be trapped in my house if the road in our neighborhood floods out, because there's only one way into our neighborhood, and we're already up to flood stage in a lot of areas here in Oregon, so we'll see. I've got plenty of food, and if the power goes out, I'm good, so I'm not too worried about it. So there I'm thinking about using some of those black rhinestone swirls, but they were just a little bit too big for the cover. So even though I try to make it work, I eventually give up on that. And I want to put all of the colors on each page. So some white snowflakes and some red and some purple, and kind of incorporate those colors onto each page. And I think I just show doing this front cover I don't show all the pages in this video because it would just be too long, but I'm going to give you an idea of what I did. I put some elements up on pop dots on each page just to give a little bit of lift. And there I'm backing my snowflake, trying to make it as sturdy as possible. And I'm using cardstock for that because the papers I covered the pages with are kind of a thin paper and they're single-sided, so they work great for covering mini albums, but they're not too stable for putting up on foam tape. So there I just lift up that snowflake, and then I want to go ahead and get some red onto this page. So I'm just using a piece of scrap paper, and then I'm pouncing my glue stick onto the snowflake. That way it doesn't, if you run it across the snowflake, it's going to get all kinds of goo trapped in the crevices in between that's then going to transfer over onto your project and your hands and everywhere. But if you just kind of pounce it on the back, it won't do that. It'll be a lot cleaner to work with your glue stick that way. So that was the front cover, and I'll go back and add a few more things to that later, but I'm going to go on to this first page, and like I said, I'm going to use a scalloped circle mat on each of the interior pages, and that's where my photos are going to go. And like I said, I think I'm going to use black and white photos in this album. So I'm just putting that down, and again on that wreath, I just used a piece of scrap paper and pounced the glue onto the back of that, so it'd be a lot cleaner to work with. I'm also using a label shape. I'm pretty sure I used a label shape on each of the pages too, just leaving myself a spot to put like the name and date. I'm thinking if I put the grandkids playing in the snow on each page, I want to write down which grandkid it is and the date and stuff like that. So there I put one of those cute little trees, and then I'm pulling in some of the white and purple snowflakes and beige just to bring all the colors onto each page. And you can't really see here, but I only put glue on half of that snowflake, and you'll see when I do the final flip through, I've left it open so that a photo can be slid behind those snowflakes. So I didn't glue them completely down. And now I'm using just a couple of those silver snowflake dazzles just to give a touch of silver to each page. And there is my first page finished, front and back. And I pull these two laces here because I wanted to put something around the cuff, but I just wasn't too sure about it. They were too formal looking. And eventually I do find some lace that I put around each of them that's a little more softer fiber, and it looks a little more, almost gives a hand crocheted look, and you can see it here on the front. And so there is my front cover, and I added a couple Prima flowers on here, and I'll show the package here in a second, and a deer in red on there as well. So I'm going to show you the supplies, the extra supplies that I used on this that I didn't show at the beginning. So you can see I have the rhinestone and those little black rhinestone stars, and those are these crystal stickers of stars that I got at Michael's. And then I just had some random bling. And then these two flowers with the, looks like snow crystals on them, are some Prima flowers that I got. I don't know which collection they go to, but I took out all the red and beige colored ones. And this lace is lace that I got from Olga. Thank you, Olga. And here it is. She had sent me a whole bunch of it, so I had enough to go around each of the cuffs. And it just has that soft hand crocheted, more mitten-like feel to them. If I was a crocheter, I probably would have crocheted a little chain and put a couple pom-poms on it, like, you know, they have on kids' mittens, because I think that would be so cute. But I'm not that good with crocheting, so yeah. So anyhow, I put some of the stars and rhinestones on each of them. And there you can see I did not glue that all the way down, so I can slide the photo underneath. I've got some room for journaling on there. And there's the actual die cut for the photos. So the photo will be die cut with this circle and then slid behind there. So that should make it pretty easy for me to put all the photos in. Here I used one of those black acetate pieces behind just to pull that punch of black. There's a little tag for journaling with some of the little gems and another one of the Prima flowers. And I love on this paper, it has kind of a knitted sweater pattern on it. So it just has that pretty winter look. And they're kind of like poinsettias, I think, in the design. And there are the Dazzle stickers. They're the winter ones. And I used mostly, like I said, the snowflakes out of this. And I think their website is paperwishes.com. If you go there, I think it's either Hot Off the Press or paperwishes.com. I think they have two websites. I'm not positive on that. There's one of the little squirrels, a couple little trees, some more of the bling, a label shape it's up on foam tape, but it's loose, and I can stick some foam tape under it after the photo is inserted. Same way with this bow. I can slide the photo underneath it and then put a little piece of foam tape under it. It's got another Prima flower on there. On this side, another one of those deer, snowflakes, bling. You know, just kind of the same repeating theme throughout. Nothing too complicated. And like I said, I pretty much made all of these embellishments just using my die cuts and some paper. So this album is pretty much all done out of my stash. And I just like how different the colors are. I'm not usually a purple kind of girl, but yeah, I thought it really worked. It was just something different. And I think with black and white photos on here, yeah, it's really going to pop. So there's another one of the diamond dye deer, another Prima flower and acetate snowflake behind. It's a little squirrel on that one. And again, I can slide the photo. That's up on foam tape. Do a little bit of journaling. There's just enough room to get a name or something in there. And then the back I left unadorned except for the lace trim. And I think this turned out super cute and, you know, just a little bit different. I think it's really going to highlight the photos that I put in there. And so, yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do a few more layout process videos next, so be looking forward to those. And thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, just leave me a comment below. Okay, talk to you later. Bye.